So let's shift to the next part. Okay. So in here, I want to share with you about the sector profile. Okay, the sector profile. So we want to choose in some specific sector and to give more further the reader's understanding about the specific industry. Okay, for example, we can later to take the semiconductor as an example, and we try to using the different angle to discuss about the semiconductor sectors. Okay, so what kind of industry is semiconductors? Okay, maybe we can through the different angle to discuss about that. For example, we can discuss that is a big sector or small sector. And we can talk about it is concentrated or the fragmented. Okay, just like they are really focused on the specific companies or not. Okay, and also we can talk about the high margin or thin, and also the conservative or the leveraged. Okay, so we can use in the different angle to discuss about the semiconductors. And then maybe in your final project, you can also try to use it a different way and to share as a specific industry. Okay, and now I already introduced with you semiconductors, so maybe not using this example. And then if today you want to use in a different angle with a semiconductor, that is also acceptable, but not keep using these four things. Okay, so the sector profile, and we try to use in the 4 dimension to discuss about that. The first one is about the size. Okay, we want to understand the scale of the semiconductor sectors in 2023. And also we need to understand which is a leading company in semiconductors. What's the top 3? We can depend on their revenue or we can depend on their net income. And the third one is about their profitability. Does they truly can get more returns? Okay, maybe they will invest some things or like the research and development, and this company can truly get more returns. Okay, so we want to evaluate about their profitability. And the fourth one is about the risk. Okay, we want to depend on their debt ratio. Okay, maybe we will have some debate, and we want to understand can they truly can earn the money back or not. So that is about the risk. So we try to use in the different angle and to analysis about our semiconductors. Okay, so in our sectors, we can use in this 4 way to analysis that. Okay, so there has a one thing we need to notice, not just telling the number, we want to tell in a story of an industry. Okay, so today we will depend on these 4 things, and like the first one, we can depend on their revenue, and to conduct a summation. Okay, so we will know how big is this sector. And the second one, we will depend on the revenue and it gives the order. So we will understand which 3 will be the top 3. And also the profitability, we will depend on the gross margin, and the risk, we will depend on the debt ratio. So we will depend on the specific variable, and we can further our understanding of this industry. Okay, so first of all, we needed to filter to the sector. So how to filter the sectors? We define things is my sectors is equal to semiconductor. Okay, because in our Excel file, okay, here we have a sector English name in here. So we can see here has a semiconductor industry, right? So we need to use in a filter to help us to find out which company is from these sectors. Okay, so we define my sector is semiconductor, so I can use in the DF sector English name is equal to my sector is equal to semiconductor, and we will copy. Why we needed to copy? Okay, that is because here is a data frame, right? Here is a data frame. If you just wanna check with this data frames whose name is equal to my sectors, and that is just depends on this data frame. In the maybe later you cannot further conduct any action. Okay, but if today you copy another one to store another one data frame, so we can give a new name is sector DF. So what's these two difference? If today we talk about the DF, this is who all of the company will put in the DF. But in sector DF is only the semiconductor industry company will put in. Okay, so we wanna using a copy to copy the semiconductor company into this sector DF data frame. Okay, so we can show you the sector DF head. Okay, so we can go to our Jupyter and you will see this one. Now we can see all the semiconductors and it has a Li Zheng and the Liandian Huatai, Taiwan Semiconductors and Mark Onyx. Okay, so there has all the companies in here. Okay, and I want to show you another things is DF dark head. So if we using the DF head in here, that is another thing. But now we needed to focus on the semiconductors. So I will suggest you to copy which sector is equal to semiconductor, and we will copy it to store it as a new data frame. So we give a name is sector DF. Okay, so that is our first step. And maybe I give you the few minutes and you can try to finish this part. And then I will suggest you to change the sector English name. Maybe you can try to use in the electronic group, or you can try to information service and to try to focus on the different sector, and we can discuss. Okay, here the second step is about we needed to understand how big is the sectors and how spread out. Okay, just like we can to understand the sector DF, the length. The length is we needed to know how many companies in these sectors, so we can using the length. And the second one is the sector DF revenue. So we can get the total revenue. So we can conduct summations with all the companies, their revenues in the semiconductor industry. And also we can use in the second sector DF employee medians. Okay, why we needed to know these three things is about the first one is we needed to know how big is this sector, and the second one is we needed to know the total revenue is high or just small. Okay, maybe because we know maybe they over them just have over the 100 companies in here, and we needed to understand the revenue is high or just small. So we can evaluate they have a large power in this sector or not. And the third one is employee medians. So we needed to know in these sectors, the most of the companies, they have so many employees in there or not. Okay, so we can use in the median to know the status of this company. So we can round it. So we can see in the semiconductors, totally we have 175 companies in these sectors. Okay, and the second one will be the total sector revenue will be this number. And you can notice here, I using a comma. Using a comma, that means we will using the 1,000 separator. Okay, and the dot zero means we don't have any floating number point numbers, and we using the F means we wanna have a normal numbers. Okay, so we got the total revenue, and the lesser one will be the median employee will be 388. So if your company have around 400 employees, so that means maybe you just got the medians in the semiconductor industry. Okay, so we get these three values, but you can see here, the first one, this company that is a deep sector with many players. Okay, because in the previous analysis, we find out that the semiconductor maybe is the largest one or the second largest company sectors in Taiwan, right? Okay, and the second one is that is comparable to the GDP of a mid-sized country. Okay, so that is a really good sectors. Okay, not only for Taiwan but for any country, that is a quite special sectors. And the third one is median company has only 388 employees. So this means that most are small, just few GMs pulling up the total. Okay, in Taiwan, this maybe have a 3 to 5 semiconductor company is quite powerful. Okay, so this is dominates the whole sector. So maybe in today's every people graduating from here, you wanna go to the TSMC or what? Okay, because you think you can earn more money in this kind of the sectors. Okay, so that is our second part. And I want to show you the third one. Okay, the third one is about the top 3 by revenue and the net income. But I want to ask you, what's the difference between the revenue and the net income? Is there anyone can tell me? What is net income? What is revenue? Do I need to call out with Professor Xiao? She teach you about the finance, right? Is your finance is taught by Professor Xiao? Yes, right? Actually, when we talk about the revenue, this is only the revenue, just what the money you earn. But when we talk about the net income, what is net income? We need to minus all the cost. Maybe your operating cost, maybe your tax, okay, maybe the other money you needed to pay. We minus all the things, and the net income is another thing. This is the truly thing you earn, the truly thing you earn. Okay, so we can depend on the 2 variable and try to analysis. The first one is top 3 revenue. The first one, for sure, TSMC. And the second one is ASE. The third one will be the MediaTek. Okay, and we can check with the second one is net income. Okay, the first one is also the Taiwan Semiconductor. Second one will be the MediaTek. And the third one will be United Microelectronic. Okay. So I want to ask you, in here, ASE in the top 3 revenue, and then United got the top 3 net income. If you want to become the ASE or you want to become the United, if you want to choose in ASE, please raise your hand. Anyone want to become the ASE company? And you want to become the United Microelectronic, please raise your hand. Okay, I think that most of you want to be this one. Okay, because in here, all the money will in your pocket. But in here, you need to share with your partners. Okay, so the revenue, that is not too important. The most important one will be net income. Okay, so you are right. You are right. So we can go to here. In my slide, I will also show you all the things. Okay, you can do the things by yourself, just like here. TSMC and MediaTek appear in both. Okay, and the ASE ranked 2, second one by revenue, but doesn't appear in the top 3 by net income. And the UMC doesn't make the top 3 by revenue, but does show up in net income. So we can know that the scale, United scale maybe is quite large, but they have the good net income. Okay, but in ASE we can find out that this is their scale is quite huge, but their net income is not enough. Okay, so we can depend on this to keep our knowledge more. Okay, so maybe I also give you the extra maybe 2 minutes, and you can try to run with the step 2 and the step 3. Okay. Look at here, step 4. Oh, by the way, in today's we talk about the semiconductor industry, right? But actually, we are in the Department of Business Administration, so I try to ask you to understand what is about packaging and testing, and what is foundry. Okay, because that is important business models in the semiconductor, and that is truly different with the other sectors. Okay, for example, all these companies, that is like the manufacturers, but they have a good profit, right? But in the other domain, in other sectors, maybe they are also focused on the manufacturing, but they don't gain good returns. Okay, so maybe you need to try to understand what's the difference between the packaging testing business model and the foundry business model. Okay, so now we will keep going. The step 4 is just try to get the mean of the profitability and the debt ratio. Okay, so you can see here I just created two variable. One is gross margin, is using the gross profit to divide by revenue, and the debt ratio is total liability to divide by the total assets. And I got the two things means, so I just got the two numbers. Actually, that is just a two number, but we try to understand these two things. The first one is 31% gross margin. That is not truly high. Okay, maybe just in the median in the all sectors. Okay, and the second one is the debt ratio. Okay, that is conservative. Okay, that means we don't serve the huge risk. Okay, in this kind of the industry. Okay, so they more relies on their cash flow rather than borrowing heavily. Okay, if your debt ratio is high, that means maybe you wanna borrow the money from the bank, and you invest so many things in your research and development. Okay, so in here we can find out that in our semiconductor industry company, they are conservative. Okay, so we will try to get the number, get the value, but you need to using the number and the value to tell a story. Okay, and finally, we can depend on that to tell our insights. So in here, I just want to show you the three insights. The first one is size and concentration. And we will find out that the semiconductor is a larger sector by revenue in Taiwan, but extremely top-heavy. Okay, so this is the first one. And the second one is profitability. Okay, so not all the company, their profitability is good. Only concentrated in the few company. Okay, maybe the top 3, they have a good profitability. And the third one is risk. Okay, their financial is quite conservative. Okay, because their average debt ratio is only 30%. Okay, so that is just depends on our data, and then we try to give the story. So in today's course, we just depend on our Excel to using the two examples to show with you. Okay, so now maybe after the course you can start to discuss with your peer and your group member. So what kind of topic we can discuss, what kind of the industry you want to focus on. And in our next course, I will show you the other things. It's about the C-bond. Believe me, that will be the interesting part. I know today's course is quite boring because this is just so many data and so many steps, so many process. But if you don't do this, you will not find out anything from this course. Okay. In this class, we just combine all the things. We already combine the pandas, combine all the Python skills. That is necessary, okay, to help you to create an insightful report. Okay, so maybe you needed to practice more, and I will also upload the video to the Moodle. Okay, so if you don't have any question, today we just end here, and please next week come to here on time. So see you next week. Bye bye.